The writing test is made up of two tasks. The first is writing an email, and the second is responding to survey questions. There are important differences between these two tasks, but there are 4 key steps you should follow in both of them in order to write clear, well-organized responses. I'm going to list the 4 steps here, and then I'll give you some details about each one. Number 1, brainstorming. Number 2, making an outline. Number 3, writing. Number 4, checking your work. In this video, I'm going to briefly discuss each of these steps, and then, in the next few videos, we are going to look at them in much more detail by applying them to examples of Task 1 and Task 2 of the writing test. The first step is brainstorming. This really just means writing down any ideas you have. It doesn't matter if these ideas are good or bad. You just want to get something down on paper to get started. This is especially useful if you're having trouble coming up with good ideas. Writing down whatever comes to mind can help stimulate your imagination and get over a case of writer's block. Once you have some ideas written down, you can move on to the next step, which is making an outline. Here you will select your best ideas and plan the overall organization of your response. This step will really help make it easier for the raters to follow the flow of your ideas. At this stage, you want to get a sense of what your main ideas will be, the order of these ideas, and how you will connect them. When test takers do not make an outline before they start writing, they run the risk of repeating ideas that they have already discussed, presenting ideas in a confusing order, or just leaving things out. Writing without first making an outline can also make the writing process much more stressful, as you are never quite sure what your next ideas will be. A good outline is like a map of your writing. It will keep you on track and identify the main points that you want to include along the way. You have about 30 minutes to complete each task, so you could give yourself about 3 to 4 minutes to do some brainstorming and make an outline. Watch the timer to make sure you don't spend too much time on these steps. Once you have completed your outline, you will be ready to start writing, which will be a process of turning your notes into sentences and paragraphs. In the next few videos, we will talk more about sentence and paragraph structure as they apply specifically to Task 1 and Task 2 of the writing test. We'll also get into even more details about sentence structure in a video dedicated to that very topic. We have a great title for this video. It's called Sentence Structure. It is worth mentioning a few important general guidelines of paragraph formation that are relevant for both Task 1 and Task 2 on the writing test. In terms of the length of your paragraphs, try to have at least 3 sentences in each one. Some test takers make the mistake of presenting their work in a series of 1 and 2 sentence paragraphs. This doesn't really help with the overall organization of a response. A paragraph should contain a topic sentence, some supporting details, and a concluding sentence. Another thing to remember is to make the division between paragraphs very clear. There should either be a space between paragraphs, or the first line should be indented with 5 spaces. Okay, let's talk about the final step in the writing process, checking your work. It's natural for all of us to make a few accidental errors in our writing, especially when feeling a bit stressed during a test. If you give yourself a few minutes to check your work, you may catch mistakes related to things like spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Remember that there is a spell check function on the writing test. So if you see a red line underneath any of your words, be sure to right-click your mouse to select from a list of correctly spelled words. However, keep in mind that this feature will not prevent you from using words incorrectly. Spellcheck would not, for example, pick up the mistakes in this sentence. They're the ones who will help us get there. The correct version of this sentence should look like this. Spellcheck can only verify whether the words you write match its database of correctly spelled words. It cannot let you know if you are using a particular word in the right context. Let's take a moment and see if you can identify the mistakes in the following sentence, none of which would be detected by a computer's spell check function. There are 5 errors here. Did you catch them all? Here's the corrected version. We'll practice checking for errors in the next few videos, and we'll also talk more about this step in the video Checking Your Work. Okay, so that was an overview of the 4 essential parts of the writing process. Over the next few videos, we're going to look at some examples of how to apply these 4 steps in writing tasks 1 and 2. In each of these videos, we'll work through an example of task 1 or task 2 from start to finish and see exactly how these 4 steps can help you improve your performance on the writing test. In video 2, we'll take a look at an example of task 1. In video 3, we'll look at task 2.